All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to Hormones Unraveled. I guess we're all unraveled, is that why we're here? I'll start with just talking a little bit, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Christy Eastat. I own Body Blueprint. 18 years now? 18 and a half? I've been in the fitness industry for over 30, so I've seen it all. Step aerobics, high-low aerobics, Pilates, yoga, CrossFit, Olympic weight training, kind of seen it all, done it all. Same with nutrition. Who did the high carb, low fat?
Oh, yeah.
Who was fat when they did high carb, low fat? I look back at pictures and I'm like, oh my God, just a totally different body, right? So everything that's come along, I just like to learn and I like to know what's going on. So as I aged and my population aged and my body changed and everything started changing, that's when I started diving into perimenopause and menopause. So I went back and I took a functional nutrition course. So functional nutrition, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it's kind of a bridge between being a doctor and a nutritionist and a personal trainer, so it's somewhere in the middle. So what I do is I can look at blood work, I can analyze that, but I also look at the lifestyle aspects. I kind of bring everything together and try to heal. So I heal through nutrition, I heal through exercise, supplements help, whatever we may need to get the job done. So that's kind of what I do as a side gig when I'm not running this place. So we're going to get into it. I have a couple of special guests, and they will be speaking. Dr. Carolina Braga will be talking a little bit about hormone replacement therapy, the fun women's health initiative that, if you're not familiar with it, hopefully we will help dispel any myths that you might think at that time. And then we have Patricia Cummings coming up and talking a little bit about a meditation technique that we can use. So I'm going to really try to zip through this because I timed myself and it took me a long time. I'm not going to tell you how long, but I cut stuff out. So what do we expect today? So we're going to try to go through everything today. So I want you to leave here feeling confident. I want you to leave here feeling like you have everything that you need to make yourself feel better, because I'm sure that's why we're all here, right? We just want to feel better. We want to know what the hell is going on with our body and how are we going to fix it. So we're going to understand hormones first. Hormonal changes, again, BHRT, symptoms, exercise, nutrition, we got it all going. So, and we're going to identify the staging. So actually stages of perimenopause and not really menopause because a year late you're done, right? So where are we going from here? Let's start
A moment
with this.
you've all been waiting for. The topic no one can get enough of. The very thing everyone wants to talk about. Perimenopause!
I was going to have you guys listen.
Perimenopause. Perimenopause is the menopause appetizer nobody tells you about. The amuse-bouche to an old cooch. Did you know, because I did not, that in perimenopause, hormones are changing as much and as rapidly as in middle school? Can you imagine if at 45 years old, men's voices started cracking and changing and their facial hair turned back into fuzzy little caterpillar patches? Can you imagine how quickly science would be like, to the Galapagos we go? Meanwhile, we're over here like, hey, I'm so sorry to bother you. I think I have a swarm of bees in my uterus and my skin's falling off. Could I maybe just, I don't know, even talk to somebody about it? And they're all, whoa, whoa, whoa. First of all, calm down. This is nature. For the next 10 to 15 years, your body's gonna slowly melt till it shuts the whole thing down and you'll finally be invisible.
So I thought that pretty much summed it up, right? So I know some of us are menopausal, postmenopausal, whatever you want to call it. I'm 3 years post my last period. So some of us are perimenopausal. So we're going to hit all the stages today. So the last course that I took was by Harvard Medical School. And it was pretty intensive. I'm not going to lie. I was Googling a lot of terms because it was for doctors. But I needed to know, what are the doctors saying? What is really going on out there? And I cannot unsee some of the things that I saw. I won't even talk about the exams that we're given, and they want you to know what it looks like down there. So we won't go there, but we're going to talk about all the symptoms. We're going to talk about what are hormones. So what are hormones? It's like we talk about it, right? We talk and we talk. Our hormones are messed up. It's this, it's that. But do we really know what they are? So they're very intricate systems. So our bodies are amazing. So the more we learn about our bodies, it's just one little thing is thrown off and everything's thrown off. So hormones are like, they're chemical messengers. So they talk. They talk to the organs in our bodies. So we have different hormones that are going to talk to different organs, and they go through different systems, but they regulate everything. So, we always think the big things. We have our heart, we have, the organs, but it's the messengers that make them work. So when those are off, we're all off. So they can regulate mood, energy, reproduction, sleep, metabolism. I guess I should look at my notes to make sure I don't forget anything. So a little bit of everything. Growth and development, appetite. So let's talk about the key types of hormones. So of course we're all here to talk about estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. However, there are a lot of other players that we're going to talk about. So estrogen, estradiol, so crucial for your menstrual cycle. So it kind of ramps up. And I'm going to show you a diagram, what it does through the menstrual cycle and what happens as we age too. But it's amping up, it's stimulating our body for those eggs, right, to get pregnant. So everything's about getting pregnant. What happens, we don't really care anymore, right? It also plays a role in inflammation. It plays a role in fat distribution and metabolism. So a little bit of everything. So progesterone involved in female health as well as body temperature and mood regulation. So anybody takes my progesterone away from me, I might stab you. So anybody that's on it, you know what I'm talking about. Testosterone, so that's that libido, that's that, and that drive, like that umph. Like I hear a lot of my women saying, I just feel like crap. Like I don't feel like doing anything. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to do anything. That's because you got no testosterone left. Insulin. So insulin helps regulate blood sugar. So that's a huge role. So many of my people, I come in and they're insulin resistant. So that means that it's not helping the glucose go through the body. So the glucose gets spit out into the blood. Insulin's supposed to take it up and gather it and help with the energy. But what happens is it doesn't get in there. So it's floating around. So your glucose is floating around in your cortisol, stress hormone. It's also involved in metabolism, inflammation, and circadian rhythm. So everybody thinks cortisol is bad. It's bad, right? No, we need cortisol. Like you need cortisol. So what happens is, yes, if you have high cortisol, it's not good. But if you have a low cortisol, that's not good either. Because a lot of times your adrenals are so fatigued and so burnt out that you got nothing left. So that also hurts with your energy and your metabolism. Thyroid hormones, we know it controls metabolism. You have T3, T4, there's a lot going on there. So I'm not going to get into a lot of detail. Melatonin helps with sleep, adrenaline. So those are most of our key hormones. So I want you to think of it like a group text. So before menopause, we have this big group text, and it says, ovulate today! And it does, just what it does, right? So in perimenopause, we have estrogens late and progesterone has left the chat. So I'll show you some diagrams, see what that means. And we're in menopause, chat's over. So just a little visual as to what's going on there. So estrogen, progesterone imbalance. So this is what's going to happen. So your estrogen and progesterone are they're going to wreak havoc on you day in and day out because they're going to change day in and day out. So there are the things that are going to create the mood swings, the PMS. So even if you are not perimenopausal and you've got PMS, it could be a estrogen progesterone imbalance. It's going to cause the weight gain. It's going to cause that brain fog. It's going to cause the sleep issues. So really, this is where we're going when we're talking about it's estrogen dominance is what it's usually referred to. Causes of imbalance. So I'm going to hit this quickly. We already know progesterone drops. Progesterone E drops. Estrogen fluctuates. So it's this crazy cycle. But there are these other things that play a huge role in your balance, your hormonal balance. So I want you to think about this. We have stress, right? So stress, chronic stress is just going to muck up your insulin. It's going to muck up everything. So we're going to get into that a little bit. We have a little treat for you today. Poor liver detox, insulin resistance. So these are all things that are going to mess with your hormones. But I want to talk a little bit about toxins. And I hate that I had to have those water bottles here, but I had to give you something, right? So let's talk about the endocrine disruptors in our society today. So things that we should be aware of, things that really kind of piss me off, because now I have to look at everything I put on my body, right? Every lotion, every food, water bottles, microplastics are the worst. So just a couple of tips, just start taking these out of your daily routine. So start taking the water bottles out. Replace them with stainless steel. Plastic containers, they need to go, so go to glass. So little easy things you can do. Water filter, so some things that you can do that are gonna help, because what's gonna happen is the toxins come in and it causes that estrogen to build up, and then it's stuck, and it's not moving. So, just a little there. All right, so let's talk about hormones through a normal month. So, day 1 is when you start your period, right? So you can see how everything's kind of level. As we start to go into ovulation, estrogen starts jumping up. It's getting ready, right? It's getting fired up. Progesterone raises a little bit. Testosterone raises a little bit. You got to get some libido to get pregnant, right? So you're there. So then you can see the drop after. So days 16, 17, 18, you have the drop. Then you have that big rise at the end in your luteal phase. And then you feel like shit right here, right? So that crash and burn is why you feel so bad. So if you ever wondered now that it's over, you're like, somebody told me that before. But there are things you can there are, I'm not even gonna get into this because it's a whole nother ball game. And it depends how you feel. This is not for everybody, but there are cycles where you can exercise. So on your follicular phase in the beginning, where it's all level, you should be able to hit it really hard. You should be able, that's when you're maxing your lifts, your PRN. Luteal phase, not so much. That's when you might want to go to yoga. You might want to just cut it back, go on walks. But again, this is, listening to your body. All right, hormones throughout life. So I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but 20 years old, so 10, puberty, all the squiggly lines, right? Then we're getting 25, 30, progesterone, estrogen, DHEA, all there also, testosterone. Then you can see at about 40, the nosedive. See the squiggly lines again? So that's back to your perimenopause. That's when you're getting in all this. This is the estrogen dominance. And this is why you don't know what's going on with your body. You have no idea, right? Symptoms of estrogen dominance, PMS, hot flashes, night sweats, weight gain, mood swings, blah, 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 blah. We know it all. All right, hormones throughout life. So this is your menopause. This is 0. This is before. So squiggly lines again, perimenopause. The story nobody told us about. And then when we come here, you're going to see your estrogen and your progesterone just start nosediving again. So I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent, but so if you had a thyroid problem, so your thyroid is not working, would you take Synthroid or a thyroid medication? What about this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got no estrogen or progesterone again. What's the difference? So, just my tangent, sorry. All right, so let's make sure I don't forget anything. Identifying your stages. So let's talk a little bit about where you are. So we're going to talk about I just want to make sure I don't forget anything. This is where I forget. So we have. Let's see if I got one more. Go back. So Dr. Heather Hirsch at the Harvard course was fabulous. So she went through. You actually have early perimenopause, you have late perimenopause, and you have menopause. So being able to track those stages, where are you in that? And that'll kind of let you know what's going on with your hormones also. So, you know, during early, you're going to have mood swings and PMS from hell. So your early ones, you're going to start wanting to stab somebody, right? You're going to have irregular cycles, anxiety, and then when you come into late, your periods might become farther apart and heavy. So if you might not get one, then you're going to be bleeding from hell, right? Memory issues, vaginal dryness, and then, you know, menopause, postmenopause, everything drops. So you no longer have progesterone and estrogen. So some of those symptoms do start to fall off. However, it can last a long time. So things they don't tell us, right? So perimenopause can last 7 to 10 years. Then you go on to menopause, you can still have those symptoms for another 7 to 10 years. So I know people that have had symptoms for 20 years. So things you don't have to deal with. That's all I'm telling you. This is why we're here. All right. So let's talk about identifying where your stages are. So we're going to track your period. So if you're going to go to your doctor, so in your folders, you'll see that there's a symptom tracker. So when you go to your doctor, you're going to want to go in loaded. Like you don't just want to walk in and say, I don't feel good. Because they're going to say, they might put you on an antidepressant, right? So lots of options. I mean, that's normally where they're going if they're not trained in hormone replacement. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, because it is necessary sometimes. A lot of times you can take care of your hormones first and then try the antidepressants. So last 6 months, so you're going to identify your last 6 months of your period, and you're going to talk about how it has changed. Capture your family health history. So it's important that you go in and you know what you're able to tell your doctor what went on with your family. So let's talk about this. So what's the first thing you would think about when you're going in to talk to your doctor about menopause or perimenopause? Health history. What's the number one thing you would think about? Cancer. So my dad died of a heart attack. Do you think that would be important? Do you think that might be more important? Possibly, because we're going to let the doctor tell you. Okay. But so, you know, cardiovascular risks, you know, bone risks, so many things. So track all of those things, not just cancer. All right, so what I did is, I didn't print this out. So in your sheets that if you cannot open that Google Doc, I'll send you a PDF. Just let me know, because I did send you. Did you guys get that? Mm-hmm. So in there's a list of questions that you can print out. So it's a lot. So it's, is it normal for me to feel this way? So it's a whole list of questions for you to ask your doctor when you go in and talk to them. However, before I even would go into my doctor, the first thing I would say, are you willing to have a discussion about hormone replacement? And if they say no, don't even go. You're wasting your time. Sorry, there's other doctors in here, but it's just a waste of time. And it's not that, they're just not trained on it. So, just what it is. They're not, a lot of people are not trained on it. So I did print out the symptom tracker for you. So you can write all these things down and take this into your doctor. So when you go in, I would say let's pick out your top 3 concerns and take those to your doctor. And don't forget to take notes. So bring a notebook, take your family history, take your tracker, everything. One more slide for me. All right, so symptoms of self-assessment. So all these things, right? hot flashes, feeling lightheaded, headaches, irritability, depression, anxiety, mood changes, joint pains, muscle pains, facial hair, less sexual, dry vagina, uncomfortable intercourse. So now that you feel so great about that,
my wife is currently in the thickness perimenopause. There she is right there. She's so sweet, little sweetie. Anyway, she's handed me this list of things that she either wants me to work on or stop doing. And full disclosure, this is actually a sealed envelope. I don't get to read any of these, so we're going to do this together. It's 2 pages. Don't help me by doing laundry. You never get it right. So it's stop opening new items in the fridge when there is already one in use. It makes me want to stab you with a dirty fork. Very nice. If you see me crying over something pathetic, hug me! Exclamation mark. You heartless jerk. Wow. I'm hot like a fireball of lava. Hot. So don't ask me to turn down the air conditioning or the fan. Get yourself a jumper, dickhead. Stop saying you've already said that. I have brain fog. I don't know if the language is necessary. Sit the down and listen to it again and again. For the love of God, stop using more than one roll of toilet paper. Don't tell me what to do. Page 2. Don't ask me if I'm angry. Yes, I am. Why am I angry? I don't know. So don't ask why either. It's a little bit confusing. I've got feelings too. The constant... Okay, now this is just getting nitpicky. The constant scratching of your eyes, nose and throat at night makes me want to drive off our bedroom balcony. Take a bloody antihistamine. I'm feeling attacked. End note. Thank you for your patience and love while I've been going through hell. My brain is currently rewiring itself. You're welcome. It's a little bit nicer. Thank you. Confession. I sometimes flip you the bird when you turn your back. Would anybody else like to add something?
So you're not alone. All right, so now that we have our humor, I am going to invite Dr. Carolina Braga up. She's going to go through the Women's Health Initiative and anything else. I know you're going to have lots of questions, so maybe take notes so we can get through everything and we'll answer them at the end.
Hi everybody, I'm Carolina Braga. I am trained in family medicine and have been in Northeast PA for about 4 years now. Initially was just doing hospital medicine as a hospitalist, but then my husband opened a clinic, I started working there, and because of my own symptoms, started getting into, researching menopause, perimenopause, and then found out through the Menopause Society and got, certified and started taking care of patients. So the WHI, it was a $1 billion study that they published, and it was back in 2002. And it's essentially cited as the basis for concerns over breast cancer related to hormone replacement, or disclosed to people about the study. The average age of the participants in the study were 63. And in reality, our average age of menopause is 51. So the younger women who actually could benefit from HRT were not the primary focus of the study. So that's a huge flaw with the study design. The other thing was timing. The WHI, they prematurely halted the study because they said there was an increased risk of breast cancer and strokes. So they discontinued the study. However, when they analyzed the data, it did reveal that probably that increased risk was due to the older age of the population that they used in the study. So as we get older, our own risks of breast cancer, stroke, heart attacks are going to increase whether or not you're on hormone replacement. So most likely that increased risk was due more to age rather than hormone replacement. And the study also they focused on synthetic hormones. So they use conjugated equine estrogen, which is from the urine from a pregnant horse. You usually have about 3 types of estrogen in your body naturally. Horses have about 12, so it's very different from our, normal estrogen. And they combined with medroxyprogesterone acetate, which is also a synthetic hormone. For hormone replacement, we usually use micronized progesterone. It has a little bit of a lower risk, So that was something else that was different. However, when they halted the study, the media got a hold of it. They published articles. There was a famous article on the New York Times, and then it caused widespread panic in the community, in the medical community. I saw statistics that before the WHI, 38.3% of women in the U.S. were on hormone replacement. A few years after the WHI, all the publishing came out, only about 4.7% of women were on hormone replacement. So there was a huge gap of, because of this misconception of women who suffered through all the symptoms that Christy went through, that were not able to get help, as well as a huge gap of, doctors and providers who weren't trained on it, because everybody was scared because they thought this increased people's risks of strokes, heart attacks, and breast cancer. So there are like I talked about, for the study they did synthetic hormone. It was one size fits all. Now we are more focused on an individualized treatment, and we use bioidentical hormones. So these are made from plants. I think most of it is yams, and they are essentially identical to what your body releases. And there's different types of delivery methods. There's your transdermal, so your patches, your gels, your creams. There's also oral. You can do patches, you can just do the transdermal route. Sometimes people have to mix and match the transdermal as well as oral. There are providers that do pellets as well. I know a lot of people recently with, menopause becoming such a hot topic with the testosterone pellets. I personally don't do it just because I don't feel like it's how your body naturally releases the hormone. You essentially get injected with the pellets, then you have a high, and it just crashes, and it's not mimicking what your body does, which is release hormone daily. So I try to avoid that, but it's out there. Thank you.
Thank you. I also want to say that Dr. Braga is one of the few, they changed the term, so I keep getting it wrong. Menopause certified, no, what is it now? Certified through the Menopause Society.
Yeah.
In our area, so there aren't a lot of doctors
Don't
that
worry,
are
it's your brain
certified.
fog, we got it.
Yeah. So, anyway, so that's the background on that. So I hope that clears up a little bit about the WHI, the Women's Health Initiative, and taking hormone replacement. So where do you start? So as we talked about, tracking symptoms, finding a doctor, blood tests. So if you come to me as a functional nutritionist, I am going to give you a laundry list of blood tests to get, right? It's a lot, but we want to know where your insulin is. We want to know where your hormones are. You have to go at the right time of the month to get this done. So there's a lot going on with the blood tests. Start moving correctly. We're going to get into that. Proper nutrition, we're going to get into that. And lifestyle, we're going to get into that. So what I am going to say to start is hormones alone do not fix hormones. So if you are not exercising, if your nutrition is bad and you feel like crap and you add hormones to it, are you going to feel better? No. Maybe, but probably not. So we got to fix everything. So our stress, our sleep, exercise, nutrition, digestion, and recovery is going to be a huge one. So some things we could not do when we were in our 20s or 30s, or what we could do in our 20s and 30s, we really can't do anymore. So there have to be some changes, and you have to prioritize recovery. So I'm going to get a little bit sciencey. You can see you sneak in back there. So I'm going to talk about just a couple of the systems in our body. So the HPA axis is your hypothalamus, which is your brain, going to your pituitary, going into your adrenal glands. So this is your stress. This is your stress cycle. So going down, it produces cortisol. So what I really just want to note on this is this arrow that goes back up to the brain. So this is called a negative feedback loop. So keep that in mind. It's the brain, right? hypothalamic pituitary thyroid axis. So now we put the thyroid in that same loop. What happens? It goes from the hypothalamus to the pituitary to the thyroid, creates your thyroid, well, your TSH comes, your thyroid stimulating goes to your thyroid gland, which produces your T3, T4, and where does it go right back up to? The brain. So the brain is going to tell you something's not right, or something is right, or you need to slow down, or you need to speed up. It's going to tell you these things. So I'm going to talk a little bit about regulating stress. Finding time for yourself, a whole new thing, right? I mean, a lot of us, our kids are older, our kids are either taking care of themselves or they're out the door. So it's time. You gotta set some time for yourself. Walks in nature have been proven to help bring stress down. Yoga. So I personally have been doing yoga. It's the first time in a long time I only go once a week, but I go, so I'm going once a week, and meditation. So I know it's not easy to do, but we're gonna give you a little trick that you can do on your own, wherever you are. So I have Patricia Cummings. I'd like for her to come up. She is a certified therapist.
So I'm a licensed professional counselor, but
That's right.
also I am also a certified yoga instructor. I don't teach any longer, but I have a passion for connecting the mind and the body. Yoga in Sanskrit means link. You're linking the mind and the body. If we don't start doing exactly what you're talking about, looking at health holistically, then all this work we're doing here with our nutrition isn't going to work. So I'm going to do a little exercise with you. I could almost feel the groans when Christy listed meditation. So I'm going to invite you all to shut your eyes. If you're not comfortable shutting your eyes, maybe look at a spot on the floor in front of you. And as you're sitting there, start to notice what comes up for you. And notice without judgment. You may be thinking, I hate this. Maybe thinking this is the first time I've sat still all day. Because what the body does when you're still is what you actually need when you're not. So if anxiety is coming up now, that is telling you that we need to work on your anxiety during the day and being still. So I'm going to give you a really short way to check in during the day. It's going to be a shortened version. You can do this anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 minutes. So as you're sitting there with your eyes closed or looking in front of you, I want you to start to imagine some water falling over your head. Start to visualize where you are. Maybe you're under a waterfall. Maybe you're in the shower. Feel that water fall over your head. And as the water falls over your head, over your neck and shoulders, that part of the body starts to soften. Feel the temperature of the water as it runs down your body. Feel it run down your arms, and your belly, and over your hips. Maybe you're visualizing where you are, the colors and shapes in your shower, or maybe you're in a forest or a jungle under a waterfall. What colors do you see? What do you smell? What do you feel? Is your water warm? Or is it cool? Feel the water move down your legs and under your feet. And just notice what's happening in your body. Let's all take a breath in through our nose. Hold it for a beat. And out through your mouth. And when you're ready, open your eyes. So that was about 30 seconds, 45 seconds of the meditation part. I like this meditation because you can do it in the shower when you get up. Studies have shown just taking just 30 seconds, instead of just getting in and trying to get out as fast as you can, just taking that 30 seconds to shut your eyes and feel the water flow over your body, checking in with your body. If your heart's beating and you're saying, I don't want to fucking do this, then that tells you I've got to do something to de-stress today. Okay.
Thank you. You're welcome. Now that everybody's all mellowed out. So, unfortunately, every day we probably need to do that at some point during the day, right? So it's a good technique that we can use throughout the day. All right, back at it. So let's go back to our complaints. Top complaints, top 6 complaints of perimenopause and menopause, and how to fix them. So weight gain. I don't really like the word diet. I prefer nutrition, but it's shorter. So nutrition, exercise, and estradiol. Sleep, diet, exercise, progesterone. Mood swings, you can see how it all runs together, right? So hormones alone do not fix hormones, so we gotta hit it from all angles. Joint and muscle pain, we didn't really get into that. You have estrogen receptors, and I looked over at Jill, sorry, you remind me. You have estrogen receptors in all your joints, so if you're finding that you're having unusual joint pain, it could be lack of estrogen. All right, body composition. Get off the scale.
Throw them out.
So we are so obsessed with the scale, aren't we? I know people that are on the scale every day. We've got to get away from that. We've got to focus on body composition because the scale can be misleading. We use InBody Scan here, which calculates your muscle, your fat, and your water. So if your body, the scale is not moving, yet your body composition, you're gaining that muscle and you're losing that fat, then it's a win. There is a waist to hip ratio also, so you smallest part of your waist through your hips, and if that ratio is 0.85, over 0.85, then it's saying you might have a risk. So, the fun part for me. Okay. So, exercise. So, exercise, again, let's just talk about what we did in our 20s and 30s. You can't do it anymore. You can, but your body it's going to suffer for it. So, those 20s and 30s, and we were doing all that high intensity, all the running and running. Yes, I'm looking at you, Michelle. Running. It really doesn't work anymore. So I want you to think about this. So when you're exercising, you have this high area, right? High highs, you have low lows, and then you have that little gray area in the middle. The gray area is probably really big though. Let's say the gray area is here and you have sides on each. So we spend so much time exercising in this gray area, and all that is doing is raising our cortisol. So I hate to say that the exercise that you're doing might be increasing your belly fat, but it might be because it's the wrong type of exercise. So we need to focus on, we gotta lift heavy shit. Just gonna tell you right now. So why do we need to do that? We need to do that for a lot of reasons. One, because we don't have estrogen anymore. So in our joints, we don't have that. So we have to recreate that basically. So we have to get that myosin and that actin. We've got to get those muscles firing without that estrogen. So we have to do that. We have to avoid chronic cardio. All right. I'm going to say, if you are an endurance lover, I'm not going to say you never have to run again, but if you hate running, this is your excuse to never have to run again. No, you can find it in, but it cannot be your mainstay, and it should not be done every day. Let's talk about a new concept that we use, and it's called SIT. So this is sprint interval training. So we know what HIIT is, right? High intensity interval training. But let's really think about it. Most of the high intensity interval training we do, is it really high enough to be high? If you can do it for 45 minutes, it's not. You're in that gray area again. So unless you're taking breaks, you're not getting into the high highs. So SIT is sprint interval training. So that is all you got for 20 to 30 seconds where you really can't go anymore. and then it's a 2, 3, 4 minute recovery. So it's a very different type of training. So, so I'm just gonna say rethink your exercise patterns. So what we do at Body Blueprint, I'm just gonna the plug. So, all right, guys, close your ears. I'm not gonna say that these programs are developed for you guys because they are, but it does work for guys too. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday are our sit days. So sit doesn't mean you're running on a treadmill all the time. Sit can be a kettlebell swing. Sit can be anything, high intensity, anything that gets that heart rate way up. So what we'll do is we might lift weights, we might end with a row. We might do some sprints. Tuesday, Thursday, we just lift heavy shit. And it's just, and you'll see those who've been coming for a while, it's gonna keep migrating a little bit more that direction. So I can't change everything at once. Me personally, I do the workouts here. Monday, Tuesday, I do yoga. Wednesday is my recovery day. Thursday, Friday, I do the workout, so I lift heavy, I do my sit. Saturday, I might do an endurance day, Saturday or Sunday, and then a day off. So it's really that simple. But I would like to talk a little bit about our SHIFT program. So SHIFT is stop hormone imbalances in our transition. So we offer a program, a semi-private program, which is 3 to 5 people. And we have it right now, 6 a.m. Tuesday, Thursday, 11 a.m. Tuesday, Thursday, and we just added a Monday, Wednesday, 5:30 to 6:30. So I'm gonna have Matt come up and talk about it a little bit. So Matt is the trainer for this program. He is a certified personal trainer, certified nutrition coach, and a women's health specialist. So where I do the nutrition aspect and the lifestyle, here's my counterpart. So,
Hello.
Matt.
How's everybody doing today? What a great evening that we have here. So my name is Matt and I do the semi-private training. So yeah, we have 3 to 5 people in those groups and we focus on lifting heavy shit. Like that is the goal. And we do that with progressive overload, continuing to increase our volume every week because that's what just needs to be done, you know? And by doing that, you're increasing strength, you're increasing your muscle, and you're really trying to control those hormones, right? And make yourselves feel better because that's the bottom line. That's why you're here right now because you're trying to figure out what's going on. That's what you want to do. You don't want to be where you're at right now for the rest of your life, right? So there's the solution, right? You just have to accept that solution. And I think one of the greatest things about what we do in the program, or what I've seen in the SHIFT program, is the difference in everybody that's come in, right? There was some resistance to lifting heavy shit, right? For a long time, it was lift light and lift a lot, right? But that's not really what we want to do so much anymore. Actually, it's exactly the opposite of what we want to do. We want to lift low reps and we want to lift heavy weights. And since we've been doing that in the program, the clients, the members have seen such a difference and it has been absolutely amazing. I've talked to clients that have been coming for years here and they have seen differences in the past 3 months because we've been lifting heavy shit, right? And while it was kind of resistant at first, as we've moved forward with it and they see the differences, they've really come around and it has been so amazing. And so I just absolutely love it. And I'm going to encourage you all to lift heavy shit and do that sit training because it's not like Christy was just like, hey, I'm going to figure out this whole new way and hopefully it works, right? Like this is science-backed stuff that we're talking about here. So if you listen, it will work. That's the thing. You got to listen and you got to do it and come lift heavy shit with us. Thank you.
So talking about science, so I'll get in a little bit more on the nutrition side, but how much science has been done on us as females? So when they go to do a study on us, like 40, 50-year-old women, what do they use? A 70-year-old man. Because we're too unpredictable, so they can't do studies on us because we're all over the place. So So my passion, I've got a lot of girl crushes now. So Dr. Stacy Sims, like, you know, Mary Claire, like so many doctors, female doctors. Not that guys don't know what they're doing, but it's just it's so refreshing to hear, you know, a female talk about females and understand it. So, all right, I did ask one of our clients, I'm not gonna put you on the spot, Jill. I did ask Jen and Jill, there are a couple of people that are in our shift program. So Jen, would you mind just saying a couple of things about it?
No, I'd be delighted to. So I started coming to Body Blueprint a little over a year ago. Saw great strides, but in January, kind of hit a wall. I wasn't seeing changes in weight, but that really, you know, wasn't as big a deal. I wasn't seeing improvements in strength. I was still having a lot of trouble with like flexity, mobility. My balance was atrocious. And so I had talked to Christy and I said, I need something to get me over, you know, kind of this hump. I need to make a change. Don't know what that is. And that's when she told me about Shift. And so, you know, started with Matt. Jill and I are together on the Tuesday, Thursday, 6 a.m. And just the changes that I've seen have been impressive. You know, I still love coming on Saturday and doing a standard lifting class. But this is the first time in my life I have ever used my muscles to exhaustion, in terms of lifting heavy shit enough times, in enough different ways that I physically can't anymore. And so that has been impressive. I jumped right over all of those hurdles that I was facing, you know, within a couple of weeks, and now 3 or so months into it, I can actually put my underwear on without holding on to something. I can actually stand up on one leg and put my underwear on. So, you know, if we just want to be real frank. But no, it's been fantastic. You know, Matt is super encouraging. He's made tiny changes in my form that have, you know, like I said, helped me move forward in all these other ways. And just really seeing fast changes and improvement, and it's fun to lift heavy shit. I love it.
It's addicting.
Yeah, and the sit, although I was not happy at first, I actually kind of enjoy it now. I do mine on the
Love
treadmill, and yeah, so good.
Yeah. So just a little bit of difference. So we offer small group and semi-private and private training. So that's just a little. The small group is what she's talking about compared to the small group. We max at 16. We maybe sometimes hit it on a rare occasion, but most of ours, I would say like 8 to 12.
Yeah.
Is about where we average in our classes. So you get a lot of personal attention. So that is the exercise part. So get out of the gray zone. Push yourself, test yourself. Progressive overloads. When we talk about progressive overload, it's building those weights over time. And when we say lower your reps, like seriously, like eventually getting down to 3 to 5 rep range, which is a challenge. Nothing you can do right away. That takes a lot of time to build into. And you know, injuries can prohibit, so there are a lot of things that can do that. But so that's the exercise part. And those of you who are new, I did offer a free week for the small group training, so you're welcome to come try that out. I'm gonna go into supplements next, before I go into the whole nutrition side. Oh, I get excited. There we are. So that's our lifts. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to go into a little bit of supplements because who's been bombarded with supplements on their social media feeds? The minute you type in perimenopause, menopause, boom, right? Like you're nailed. So there's so much out there. So what I really want to say about this is there are some great supplements. I'm going to give you a few things to be aware of. Beware of proprietary blends. So when you are looking at a supplement, it says proprietary blend of you have no idea what's in it. Some of them are good. I'm not going to say they're all bad. Something to be aware of. You wanna make sure your supplements are third-party tested, which means they go to a facility and that's what's in them. What they say is in them is actually in them. If they're not third-party tested, you really have no idea. And a GMP, a good manufacturing, that's all. So those 3 things. What do you need to take? That all depends on you. Like, everybody's very different. However, pretty much all of us need to be on a basic stack. So I will talk about that. I'll talk about a multivitamin, vitamin D3K2. So everybody should be on it. So the D3K2, the K2 tells it where to go. So it's like its messenger. So you really need both. A fish oil. So you want 1,000 milligrams EPA DHA. You want magnesium glycinate. 500 400 or 500 milligrams of that. So I did give you guys a 20% off link. I don't make any money on supplements. I keep a very small amount here, but through that link you can order and get 20% off. Creatine. Yes. I'm gonna say yes. That's a yes for me. Personal use also. I definitely feel stronger. I have more endurance. It sometimes helps the mental side of it, but there's a lot. It's the most researched supplement out there. What else? What other adaptogens? So some, yes, but it depends. So ashwagandha is a big one, right? However, if you have low cortisol, you should not be taking ashwagandha. And you don't know if you have low cortisol unless you get a test. So just beware. Rhodiola, yes, it's a great supplement. Let's see what other. Maca is great. Shashandra. There's some really great supplements, but just, beware of what you're taking. Berbeриne's another one if you are insulin resistant. Highly recommend. It takes the place of metformin. Collagen for hair, skin, nails, yes. The other research it's kind of iffy. So it's on you. If you want to take it, I try and then I go off, then I go on. So it's iffy. I'm going to tell you one of my favorite is acetyl L-carnitine for fat loss. So you'll see that on your list. But besides that, again, there's a ton. And it depends. So what I recommend for my clients supplement-wise is based on when I look at everything. I look at their lifestyle, I look at their blood work, I look at where their deficits are, and then I recommend supplements from there. So, all right, so nutrition. So this is what I want you guys to take home. So this is going to the end. So, all right, so here we are again. Eat less, and lose weight, right? That's what we've been doing for how many years? So all that eating less now is doing for us is making us gain weight. So what I like to do personally with my clients is I want to find what's your basal metabolic rate. So we need to do a 7-day food log, figure out how many calories you're eating, are you losing or gaining weight, and that's where your basal metabolic rate is. From there you can go up or down. Most of us are not eating enough. So we have to do this fun thing called reverse dieting, which is adding about 50 calories a week and getting those calories up. So I want you to think, I want to lose weight. How do you lose weight? You have to be in a calorie deficit, right? But if you're already in a deficit, where are you going? Like, you can't go from 1,000 calories to 800 calories and lose weight. So we've slowly got to get you up there. Like, if you're below 1,600 calories, I can't go anywhere with you. 1,400 calories. I can take you down to 1,400 calories. So I want you to tell you, we got to start ramping up. So it's a little bit of, it's a mindset. We know it really messes with your mind, right? But it has to be done. So I'm gonna get off that. Okay. Timing matters. So who does intermittent fasting?
Try it.
No, nobody?
I'm not allowed to eat after 7, say so.
Who doesn't eat breakfast? So I'm happy to see that not a lot of people are intermittent fasting, because that was a big thing. And that for us right now, the longer you go without eating, what's that doing to your body?
Stress.
It's causing stress. So it's causing us to gain weight. So again, let's go back to the research that was done on intermittent fasting. Men. So it's not a great place for us to be. So focus, timing matters. So I want you to think about eating around your circadian rhythm. So when you wake up, when you go to bed, and when you work out. So those three things are where you want to focus your food. So if you work out in the morning, you need to get a little bit in your body before you go work out. So not a lot, 150 calories, 10, 15 grams of protein, a little bit of carb mix.
I do it.
No, the one behind you.
Oh, the one was like, no.
I literally get up and go here. I have no time to eat or anything.
Okay, so,
I'm like, how do you do that? Like, I literally get up at 4:45. I'm out the door by 5 o'clock. I know. I talked to Taylor. She's like, eat something.
so I
No,
found this
I-
great yogurt drink.
Oh, yeah, those are.
I don't even remember. It's all right. I mean, it's an organic. I don't know. I got so or it's a couple bites of yogurt. Like it's not a lot of food. Like if you think 150 calories, it's one of those 100 Oikos 150 calorie small things of yogurt. But there are lots of ways you can drink it on your way. Drink the yogurt on your way. So sometimes I'll do. So I've been alternating my breakfast overnight oats and shakes. So maybe I'll make a bigger one and I'll have a little bit before and I'll have the rest of it after. So if you exercise in the morning a little bit before, but after you want to hit at least 30 grams of protein after your workout. So more, usually for most of it's more like 35, 40. So around your workouts, and then before you go to bed, at least 2 to 3 hours, you need to cut it. So that's what I want you to think about your food timing. Oh wait, did I miss anything? No, okay. All right, so nutrition strategy. So focus on one thing every week. So if you don't have it all together, we're gonna break it down, and I do have a sheet in there that we're gonna go over. So let's hit, gut health is like a whole nother hour-long topic, so we're not gonna get into gut health, but fiber is very important for it. You need soluble and insoluble fibers. Also, I want you to think, so you think you have to have fiber so it helps you go to the bathroom, right? What happens if you don't go to the bathroom? You're building up estrogen in your system and it's really mucking you up. So, just another way. Oh, no, not there yet. All right, so in your chart, you'll see I gave you ways to get 30 grams of protein. Concentrate on quality carbs, good quality carbs. So getting all the refined crap out of your diet is really the main thing you want. Focus on fiber, soluble, insoluble. So I'm really zipping along so I can help you plan your day of food. Healthy fats, and your chart. So I made up this little chart here. I'm so proud of myself, by the way. I hope you love it. So I got it all on one sheet. So you'll see I have breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, total for protein. So I only have one snack. Sometimes I have two, but most of the time I only have one. So you have to look at each one. So before I work out, I will have a snack. So you'll see I did 8 to 9 grams per ounce. So how many grams of protein do you want in a day? Any guesses?
140. 120.
Close to your body weight per gram.
125?
Close to your body weight.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah, so it's really not as hard as you think to get that much protein. I even have people who don't like meat and they still get enough. Do I have any vegetarians? So Sandy, it's tough for Sandy for sure. Jill struggles a little bit with her protein, but she's come a long way, right? How many grams are you getting now in a day?
Not quite at one, yeah, I was hoping to get 140, I'm getting there, 120.
Yep. So
yeah.
she's
And I was getting below 100 before.
Yeah.
I don't eat meat, so it's
Yeah.
a little harder.
She does not eat meat, but still getting that. So 8 to 9 grams per ounce. So if you need, so I typically try to have 4 to 5 ounces when I sit down to a meal. So I'm getting 35, 40 grams when I'm sitting at a meal. So if you think you're getting 35 to 40 at every meal, and then you're getting 20 at your snack, you're done. So you just gotta keep increasing that. So I gave you a list of foods there. So you can start adding those up. I did the same thing with the carbohydrates. So again, you can see here, the corn's really not a great option. The healthy fats and the high fiber foods. So fiber's a tough one, because fiber is gonna fall somewhere else too, right? So your raspberries, your lentils are also carbohydrates. So they're gonna fall in a little bit of protein sometimes. So focusing, trying to get everything in and the fiber, it can be a challenge. So I made up this little chart, and I hope it helps you pick your carbohydrates, your proteins, your fats, and your fiber. As far as calories go, you know, we gotta find your basal metabolic rate first, so there's a lot of, if you really wanna to nail that down, it's a little bit of work.
Chrissy, are all these numbers protein? Like oats are 18 grams?
No, that's your carbs.
It's carbs, okay.
Yeah, so the first
Only the
set,
protein is the first one.
the first
okay.
one's all protein, the second's all carbs, the third's all fats. All right. So let's put it all together. I think I'm done. I did. So step by step, track your symptoms. Blood work in your doctor. So I do want to go over finding a doctor who's going to listen to you. If you do want the list of blood work, please reach out to me and I'll be happy to give you that list of blood work that I give my clients. In your sheets, I gave you some, let's see, what did I give you? A free week if you don't come here, a free semi-private session if you want to try it, that's even for my clients, and 20% off the supplements. So, did I do it in an hour? Yes. Thanks for having me, guys. Oh, questions, yes, all right, any questions? Any questions?
I have 2 questions. Okay, number 1, what if we don't get our period anymore? How do we know where we're at? Like you showed a picture of the days and then all the squiggly lines, and you said you can lift heavy during these days or you should take it easy. If we don't get our period anymore,
You gotta listen to your
I
body.
don't because I have hysterectomy. How do I know?
You have to listen to your body. You gotta be nice to your body, and don't when you wake up. So a lot of times it has to do with our sleep and our recovery.
And second question, creatine. So I was taking creatine when I was lifting heavy, and then obviously I've been off for a while and I stopped. But I've read mixed things. Should I have still been taking it throughout my recovery, or can even if I'm not, because I'm not
Yes.
really lift heavy again
Yes.
yet? Can I still take
Yes.
it every day? There's no harm or risk.
No.
Okay, so I should go back to taking the 5 grams a day.
Yeah, and it takes about 3 weeks to build up in your system.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
So how do you work in the supplements with like the other medicines that you take on a daily basis? Because I know there's like some things that are have interactions, and you shouldn't take this with this and this with this.
Yep,
Like,
yep,
how do you-
we just have to look at them all.
So we just give you a list of what
Yep,
we're currently
yep,
on.
Yep, we gotta go over them all and see what should be done together. Any other questions?
I have one. So what's the difference between the shift versus the regular classes that you offer, like that we take?
Well, one, it's semi-private, so it's more personal. 2, it is straight progressive overload. So, like, you're gonna take a lift, and you're gonna lift. You're gonna do a set of, you're gonna do a chest press, You're gonna rest, you're gonna go heavier, do it again, you're gonna rest, you're gonna go heavier, do it again.
So it's not like
No circuits.
Not the
4 or 5
circuit.
exercises.
It's like one
per
lift
station.
and you're just focusing on.
Yep, yep, it's one
Similar
lift.
to Saturday stuff, but we're not doing most
Yep,
of it.
yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
And it's not a lot of combo moves either. A lot of it is kind of a
Straightforward.
straight bicep curl, straight deadlift,
Right.
straight chest press
I like
without,
Little old
I
school.
mean, there are some other
That's
things
what I
to, you know, improve the balance and mobility, but a lot of it is, cause I Matt and Jill can attest to this, doing things like dead bugs where you have to move your arms and legs independently. And try and think about your abs, I get very confused very quickly. So the fact that it's like straightforward and, you know, is, for me, has been really good, that it's not, you know, you've gotta do these 3 different things in sequence. You know,
Lovely belly, pat your head, something.
yes.
Balance.
We haven't been doing a lot of that lately.
I haven't been here.
Yeah,
I'm back this
I've
week.
slowly been phasing, changing things, but can't do it all at once. Any other questions?
Any questions here?
I do. You said I can't eat after 7, but you just said 3 hours before you went to bed. So I'm just saying, everybody heard it here, right?
That means we can't eat it after.
That's because I know what you're, that's because I
I
know
went to
what,
bed at 10.
I know what you're
You
eating.
never asked me what time I went to bed. This is my takeaway right now.
Cause I know what you're eating after 7.
Okay, we don't have to talk about that.
Yeah, 2 to 3 hours before bed, but typically it's 7 o'clock. Cause you're eating nothing really after that, right? You're over 6 hours.
7 hours, 7.
Alright, well, if you're working, you're out.
I'm just kidding.
Alright, I don't wanna keep you guys here all night, so I'm here to answer questions. Dr. Braga's here, Patricia's here, so any questions? We have cards. Oh, and your bags, we gave you a $50 off of Northeast Aesthetics. They do injections, they do all types of needling, and elegant tea.
What's the salty stuff? What are you talking about?
It's yummy. So that is an electrolyte replacement. So that's the best one that I found on the market. So it's got magnesium, it's got sodium also, and calcium. So on another note, how much water should you be drinking? Half your body weight in ounces, right? If you are drinking more than that, you're dehydrating yourself and you need a replacement. If you're not salting your food, you probably need an electrolyte replacement. And it definitely helps, makes you feel better. This element is
In your one.
This one is
Sodium.
not after 7.
I guess
you have to just really hit it.
How'd you hear about this?
When I hear about
I'm always telling
Yeah, so I said anything.
Oh, wow.